Thank you. Come on. What you just saw is me as a pro skier. I've been labeled as a skier ever since I dedicated my life to the sport in grade 7. And my life as a pro skier is pretty awesome. I get to travel the world and play in the mountains. I've traveled to the most amazing geography, skied peaks higher than 4,000 meters, really living life to the fullest. Let me tell you about flying down a mountain. With skis on your feet, you can descend thousands of meters in a matter of minutes. I mean, how cool is that? I want you to imagine a mountain in the summertime. Think of how long it takes for you to descend that slope. There's rocks and logs and trees. But if you just add some frozen water, like magic, you have a white canvas covering most of these obstacles. Click into your skis, and away you go, floating through fresh powder, leaning your weight to the right, to the left, snow billowing over your head, dodging trees. It's as close to flying as I'll probably ever get. My life as a skier is pretty amazing, traveling the world with my best friends, competing at an elite level, the thrills of winning competitions, and the overall fun that comes with filming ski movies in places like Japan. But this is also me. That is me as an asthmatic. So how can that be the same person? How can a guy with health like that, with damaged lungs, with scarred lungs, ski down a mountain, jumping off cliffs, doing flips? Well, it's because I'm stubborn, and I never let my labels define me. You see, if you can't tell, I've got really bad lungs. I have horrible asthma. I have less than 30% lung function. During my last asthma episode, or on a bad day, I was under 20%. And I've yet to have 50% lung capacity in the last 10 years. And I'm not too happy about these numbers. But in my situation, you have to be tough. You have to be tough to survive as an infant being intubated at birth. And you have to be tough to have spent your first birthdays in the hospital labeled as a sick baby. And you have to be tough to grow up with limited lung function at 3,000 meters, where my bedroom was, learning to walk with an oxygen tube taped to my face. But it's my toughness and my stubbornness and my changing of these labels that has landed me on this stage here. So I want everyone to take a big breath in. Now breathe out. Okay, let's do that one more time. In, out. Now let's do an exercise. I want to show you guys what it's like to breathe like me for a second. So everyone should have a straw on their chair. So take out your straw and unwrap it. Okay, now place the straw in your mouth. Hold on. And seal your lips tight. Now take your other hand and plug the other end. Now just move your finger a tiny bit out of the way so there's a small gap so air can get through. Now breathe. If you feel yourself cheating, pinch your nose. Really breathe through that straw. That's what it feels like. I don't know how many of you think about breathing or have ever thought about how many breaths we take in a day, but it's a whole lot. We take about 25,000 breaths per day. Each of these breaths providing much needed oxygen to our brain, to our internal organs. Each one of these breaths keeping us alive. But for someone like me, I just don't think about breathing. I obsess about breathing. That's because I always need to find where my next breath will come from. Most of the time, it's a gasp, and most of the times, it's not enough. For me, It feels as if I'm breathing through this straw 24/7. When I exercise, the straw is there. When I'm going to bed, the straw is there. When I'm skiing, usually at high elevation, the straw is there. Each breath of the thousands of breaths I take a day is compromised, often making me feel like I'm suffocating or drowning. And because my lungs aren't working properly, my heart has to work harder. My brain isn't getting enough oxygen. I have a headache. It's a negative feedback loop that, as a result, makes me feel weaker. But healthy people, you don't think about breathing. However, if you have a respiratory disease, you're bad at the one thing you need to be good at to survive. It's true. So let's all take one more big breath in. Okay. Now I'm going to take you guys briefly into an asthma attack. An asthma attack. An asthma attack so serious, you can imagine me like a fish out of water on his last breaths. And these attacks can happen anywhere. They've happened when I'm traveling. They've happened in an airplane. They've happened in remote parts of the world. And it'll start with me needing to clear something out of my chest. So I'll give in and cough. I'll begin to cough more and more. My blood oxygen saturation will drop. My lips will turn blue. I'll continue coughing and soon be coughing out of control. I'll cough so hard, my nose starts bleeding. I'll cough so hard, I throw up. And I continue to dry heave, but I cannot stop coughing. I hit my chest. Thank you. Like a gorilla in the jungle, trying to loosen anything up, thinking that if I can clear something out of my lungs, the attack will be over. But it doesn't end. I've taken my medication, my steroids, but the only thing that can save me now is a trip to the hospital. And as I'm having these attacks, I often remember something. I remember being a child in the back seat of our car, and at the time our car had power windows. And like most kids, I'm in the back seat playing with the automatic window button. Up, down, up, down. My dad has long since locked the back windows, but there I am sitting playing with the switch. Click, 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 up, down, up, down. My dad, clearly annoyed by now, takes one hand off the wheel and his eyes briefly off the road, turns around, looks at me, and says, "Jake, did you know each switch only has a certain amount of switches in them before it breaks?" Well, I think of this often when I'm coughing uncontrollably. Do my lungs only have a certain amount of coughs in them before they stop working? And what is that number? Well, despite my damaged lungs, I've persevered, and I haven't let my asthma get the best of me. I can't change the fact that I can't breathe, but I can change how I am labeled. And so can you. We all label ourselves. Society labels us. The media labels us. Probably the most obvious example here is with image and body type or skin color or hair color. But for asthmatics in the media, there are over 70 English language films where there's a character with asthma and he is portrayed as weak, as nerdy, as an outcast, as a geek, as unsuccessful. Asthma is systemically stigmatized in Hollywood. Movies like Lord of the Flies, Goonies, Jimmy Neutron, Sidekicks, even in The Simpsons, Malcolm in the Middle, the list goes on and on. Each character in these films with asthma is stigmatized or marginalized. And that's a problem because people look up to whom they want to be like in the media and whom they don't want to be like. If there is a character who is a total outcast or a total scaredy cat or a wimp, you don't want to be like him. And this is a problem for adults and for kids. So much that people are embarrassed to use their inhaler in a public setting. Kids are embarrassed to expose their inhaler in front of their peers. Well, how do I know this? Because I was once embarrassed to use my inhaler in public. But not anymore. If I need it, I'll use it, because it helps. Think of how you may have labeled yourself in the past. Too old, too slow, too sick, not smart enough. Well, I'm here to tell you we can shed those labels and choose the labels we do want, just like I have chosen to be a skier, not an asthmatic. So, I may never stop breathing through this straw, and someday I'll probably need to ski with supplemental oxygen. But I won't be labeled as the old man skiing with an oxygen tank. I'll be labeled as a skier. So remember, we all have the opportunity to choose our labels. We just need to be tough enough and stubborn enough to think beyond our labels. Thank you.